Hi, David, they call me MacGyver. Today I'm going to show you how to change the elements in your oven, both the baking element and the broiler element. So hang tight and we'll get started. So I happen to have a Whirlpool drop-in range, but every oven is just about the same as far as the procedure for changing out thermostats and also for the elements. First thing you want to do is, of course, you want to remove your racks. It gives you access to get to the bottom element and the top element. And then after you've removed those, there are on the bottom very back wall, there's a screw on each metal bracket that goes around the element. And you just take it out off of each side, and they're Phillips, and you just remove those. And then after you've removed those, then you very carefully you want to start pulling the element out, and keep in mind that these are spades with a little wire coming out, so you don't want to just yank on it because you might end up losing the wire back in the back of the oven. So you just kind of move it around. There's also some insulation in there, so you get those, and then I just take a pair of pliers to kind of grab that spade terminal and just kind of wiggle it back and forth so that I can pull it off. And you don't want to squeeze too hard because you don't want to mash that terminal. You just want to have something to grab a hold of it, and then you get your new element, and you're going to connect both of those wires back up to the terminals. Once you get those plugged back in, then you feed the element and the wires back in through the back wall. You kind of wiggle it in there to get it in the insulation, and then you'll just get your two screws, and you're going to fasten those back in. So you just tighten those back up. You don't have to reef on them, you just want to get them up so they're good and snug. After you get the two screws in there, then you can begin working on the upper element. So this is the upper element, and there's two screws on the back wall, and the element on the broiler element is different. It's got more surface area. See how it is. And then there's two screws up here, two angle brackets. And again, this is a Whirlpool oven, but I think just about every oven is pretty standard the way they mount in. So you want to remove those two upper screws, and the element is going to drop down once you get those two upper screws out. And then you do the same thing. You carefully wiggle the wires out of that back wall. Again, it also has insulation. And then you're going to remove those two spade terminals off of the back of the elements. And after you've removed those, then you get your new element. And then you're going to grab those two little metal brackets and find out which direction is left and which direction is right. And it's as you're facing the oven, that's how you determine which one it is. And there's a L on one side and R on the other. So you slide that over the end of the element. So you will need to reuse these. They don't come with the new element. You just reuse the same brackets. And then you slide your spade terminals back on the end of each element end and poke those back through the insulation and kind of wiggle it so that they go back in. And then the easiest way to do that is go ahead and fasten one of your L brackets on one side. That'll hold the element in place. And then you can grab your other screw on the other L bracket, and you might need to kind of wiggle it to get the hole lined up. But once you get that in there, then you'll need to take the screws, and if you have a magnetic screwdriver, it's nice because then you can stick it in the hole that the screw goes in on the bracket, because it will need to be kind of turned. And then if you'll watch, I'll put the screw on the end of my drill, and those little metal brackets hang down. So you just put it in there and spin it up, line up the hole, and run it in. That just makes it a little easier to get those holes lined up for the screws. The same thing there. Spin it up, you're good there. And then after you get that, you can put your racks back in, and after you get your racks in, you are done. So that's all there is to it. It's not a real tough job. Well, I hope that was some good information for you. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, if you'll do that and then click the bell icon, and then every time I come out with a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks a lot. You have a great day.